In this demo, we're going to explore Rubrik's generative AI assistant called Ruby AI, and let's investigate a security event flagged by threat monitoring. We're also going to be engaging in an interactive chat to understand details of the threat, sensitive data exposure, blast radius of the threat, how to quarantine the threat, and also how to perform a recovery. Now, let's get started. We've received a notification in our inbox stating that there is a malicious file that was detected in the object RBK1. Ruby has already jumped into action, asking us if we'd like to investigate and build a response plan together. Ruby has found the malicious file and has started the investigation. Here's the details that was found. Let's click on See Details to view more. Ruby has provided a description of the malware, the file location, and the hashes related to it. Now let's see what Ruby recommends. Let's close this. And let's ask Ruby to tell more about this malware. Ruby has provided us a summary of the malware and has recommended that we search for additional IOCs or indicators of compromise related to this malware, so let's click Next. Now let's search for additional indicators of compromise, as Ruby has indicated. Let's click Next. Ruby has not only identified additional files and objects that were affected, but has also provided us a timeline of dates when these malicious files were noted in the snapshots. This helps us identify the events further. Also, Ruby has done the investigation and has automatically generated a report for us. Let's view the report. Excellent. Ruby has created this report and has identified 2 malicious files which are commonly found in Grand Crab ransomware attacks. It also did some research to identify the list of all affected objects that contain these malicious files and the compromised snapshots. It also provided us the date of the first match snapshots for these objects to help us investigate further. Now let's download the report. Once we've downloaded the report, let's ask if there is any sensitive data on these objects. Great, Ruby has identified a list of sensitive data policies associated with those 2 affected objects. Now let's ask Ruby for recommendations on next steps. Ruby is recommending that we quarantine these objects, and it's also recommending us to not attempt to remove these malicious files as the attackers may have placed other means to retain access to these affected systems. The second step it's recommending is for us to recover these objects using the snapshots from the previous day. It is also providing us a warning to not reconnect the system to the network until all other compromised systems have been identified and quarantined. Let's go ahead and quarantine all these malicious snapshots as recommended by Ruby. So click on Quarantine all the malicious snapshots and ask Ruby to do it for us. Type yes and click Enter. As you see over here, Ruby has now quarantined the identified snapshots across all platforms. No administrator within the organization will be able to reintroduce these threats from a data recovery. Now Ruby's asking us whether we'd like to create a recovery plan and start the recovery process. It's telling us that the recovery snapshot from the previous day will be used, and we can simply type in Recover Now in the chat to confirm our decision. And it's that easy to obtain details of the thread, understand sensitive data exposure, the blast radius of the thread, and auto-quarantine the thread. So as demonstrated, AI doesn't just identify threats, it investigates diagnosis and fixes them automatically, slashing response time and keeping your systems safer than ever.